Few years ago, there is a boy who watches news about wars in distant nations, while considering himself either emotionless or simply normal for feeling no particular impact from such reports. Then his thoughts drift toward the dinner menu when his mother addresses him as Satoki and orders him to stop spacing out and finish his food. And after that, Satoki wears his shoes while asking his mother about the dinner menu, as she replies that it consists of pork miso soup and hamburger steak. And she orders him to leave immediately when a man descends from the stairs, and comments that Satoki is leaving unusually early. And Satoki states that he is heading out, as that man remarks that Satoki is usually the one who arrives late. Then Satoki reaches the station and offers morning greetings to a girl seated on a bench named Ada, who responds politely, while Satoki calls another boy Take and mentions that he has been practicing since morning again. Then Take stands with a pole and confirms, while Satoki asks about his rank this season, and Take responds that he is ranked second, and Satoki compliments him by expressing confidence that he can achieve first rank, and adds that he also aims to improve his own position. While Take plays an action game on his phone, and Ada comments that the boys behave carelessly despite the existence of real wars in the world. And Take dismisses the concern by pointing out that only a few countries are involved in those wars. Then Satoki offers Ada a chance to try the game, but Ada refuses and expresses that Japan might eventually become involved in war, which would make such games feel foolish. And Satoki attempts to reassure her by expressing confidence that Japan remains safe, while Ada softly expresses uncertainty. Satoki thinks briefly, then asks Ada if she actually feels concerned, and Ada denies it and claims that she was merely joking, after which Satoki laughs and begins playing the game while advising her not to worry, as he asserts that even if war reaches them, he will protect everyone with exceptional aim. Then Take remarks that Satoki has stated he will protect Ada specifically, and Satoki clarifies that he intends to protect everyone, while Ada blushes slightly and asks if Satoki truly intends to protect her, and Satoki affirms before again adding that he means everyone. Then Take teasingly describes Satoki as flustered, and Satoki informs the others that their train has arrived when suddenly a police officer appears and greets Satoki, who responds with surprise and returns the greeting. After which the officer speaks into his handheld radio to report that he has located a student with a scar on his forehead, before asking Satoki to confirm his identity. And Satoki confirms while the officer requests to speak with him briefly. And Satoki explains that he will be late if he misses this train, but the officer apologizes and claims that it will only take a moment, as they are simply performing official duties. And Satoki agrees while Take asks what is happening and implies that Satoki has committed some crime, while Ada angrily responds that although Satoki may behave foolishly, he is not a bad person. And Satoki states that he does not understand the situation but instructs his friends to continue without him. Then Take waves and agrees, while Ada expresses that she will see him later, and they both leave as the police officer asks Satoki to wait a while. The officer casually whistles while wasting time without purpose, as Satoki wonders whether he has done something wrong. And after some time, the officer speaks again through his handheld radio, and then apologizes to Satoki, saying that someone at headquarters made a mistake. After which Satoki is informed that he is free to go and expresses surprise about the mistake, while the officer apologizes again and advises Satoki to head to school carefully. Then Satoki boards the train while thinking about the strange encounter, and concludes that there is no point worrying if the situation does not concern him. And he suddenly remembers that he has to visit the staff room to obtain a tardy slip, which he calls an annoyance, and loses himself in a phone game during the ride, until he arrives at school and notes that the first period is nearly over, and being Wednesday, it must be biology class. Then he recalls that Takahashi-sensei is extremely strict and expects to be reprimanded even with a valid explanation, while imagining that Yamamoto and the others will make jokes about his delay, as if he had been arrested, and he sighs with irritation at those class clowns, while predicting that Take will remain indifferent as usual because Take has a cold personality. And Satoki decides to speak to Ada later, because he believes that her company may improve his mood, and he assumes that they have grown closer recently before rejecting the thought and accusing himself of overthinking, as he enters the classroom and apologizes for his lateness while feeling embarrassed. Satoki immediately notices a strange sight, because a female teacher stands on the platform while a towering glass capsule sits on every desk, each containing a human brain faintly pulsing with an artificial rhythm, as streams of tiny bubbles rise like mechanical breaths. And Satoki becomes shocked while the female teacher greets him politely and expresses that she has been looking forward to meeting him. Then Satoki wonders about her identity and the situation he witnesses and mutters that he may have entered the wrong classroom before attempting to leave. But the teacher calls out to him and informs him that he is in the correct classroom before ordering him to hurry to his seat because everyone is waiting for him. Then Satoki mutters about the absence of his classmates until he sees one of the capsules labeled with Ada's name, and he recalls when Ada earlier asked whether he would protect her. And he forces a tense laugh while insisting to himself that such a situation cannot be real. But the teacher impatiently repeats her order and instructs him to take his seat because everyone looks forward to class with him. Then Satoki states that he does not know who she is, but demands that she stop using the word everyone as it sounds like she refers to the brains in the capsules as his classmates. And she confirms calmly and explains that all his classmates have currently been separated from their physical bodies and now exist only in a brain-dependent state. Then Satoki laughs nervously and rejects the explanation while insisting that it must be an extremely tasteless prank. And the teacher responds that his disbelief is expected, as she reveals that such a result is indeed impossible with the technology available on this planet. And Satoki becomes stunned while the teacher continues and adds that they do not originate from this world, before veins extend from her arm to her head. And she lifts the top of her skull like a detachable cover to reveal a non-human structure beneath while declaring the possibility of what he sees. Then Satoki obeys reluctantly and takes his seat while attempting to comprehend her claim of extraterrestrial origin and questions internally whether she is an alien and why she has transformed his classmates into brains, and whether this invasion means catastrophe for humanity, and whether his friends can return to normal. And the teacher asks for permission to introduce herself properly before announcing that beginning today, the school falls under their control, and she will serve as their new instructor while stating that her true name remains confidential, and she will only be referred to as A-Sensei for convenience. And Satoki processes the claim of control and her authority before abruptly rising in anger and loudly rejecting the idea that she qualifies as a teacher since she is an alien, and demands that she restore everyone and leave the planet. But A-Sensei ignores his hostility and explains that the word sensei originates on this planet and refers to someone who has advanced ahead of others. And she claims that her people possess scientific technology superior to Earth and have already experienced the destruction that awaits this planet in the near future. And Satoki reacts with shock while A-Sensei assures him that the planet can still be saved if he chooses to cooperate with them. Then Satoki demands to know why he has been chosen, and A-Sensei explains that as someone who has lived longer in knowledge and experience, she asks for his permission to save them all. But Satoki rejects her intent and declares that her actions are hostile and offers a condition that if she truly desires to protect humanity, she must first restore everyone to normal. And A-Sensei responds by forming a strange magical gesture and expressing that she has faith in him before Satoki realizes that his body will no longer move. And A-Sensei turns to a chicken-shaped statue and says that she entrusts the rest to him while addressing it as Chicken Sensei before leaving the classroom as Chicken Sensei announces the beginning of first-period mathematics. And Satoki understands internally that this moment marks the beginning of their war. Satoki is thinking that his body won't move, and it's like he is paralyzed from head to toe. If they did something to him, but what the hell is going on then? He recalls that Sensei told him that all of his classmates have been living in a brain-only state, and they are not from this planet. And if Satoki chooses to help them so, they can save this planet, and then Chicken Sensei announces about the first period of math. Satoki thinks that he doesn't understand any of this if they really turned everyone into brains, even Ada and Take, everyone except for him. He recalls his class fellows, then sees around him. He shouts to not give him that saving this planet bullshit and change humans back to normal, then let them go. Chicken Sensei says that they return humans all to normal and release them. However, only once Satoki passes the graduation exam. Satoki astonishingly thinks about the graduation exam, while Chicken Sensei informs that the graduation exam is an exam that Satoki can only take after he has passed all of their lessons. Satoki astonishingly thinks about pass of all the lessons, and then pass the graduation exam, but he doesn't get it. But if he does that, then he can turn everyone back to how they were. Chicken Sensei announces that for their first period, if Satoki solves the equation, Chicken Sensei gives him correctly so he passes, and the bonus for passing is restraint release. Satoki aggressively shouts about bonus, and Chicken Sensei is the ones who are hurting them one-sidedly. Chicken Sensei holds the chalk in his mouth and throws it towards Satoki, which hits Satoki's forehead. Satoki shouts in pain while Chicken Sensei informs that she has permission to dispense this punishment once every 10 seconds. Satoki aggressively shouts bad words about them while Chicken Sensei writes the equation on the board while grabbing the chalk in his mouth, and the equation is about 1 + 1 equals, then she announces to start. Satoki thinks that it is too easy if Chicken Sensei is playing with him, then he guesses that these guys give off as they are superior to Earthlings kind of vibe, but maybe they are actually bad at math, then he guesses the answer, which is 2. Chicken Sensei requests to write answer on the board. Satoki asks to undo the paralysis. Chicken Sensei replies that he can't do that because restraint release is the bonus reward for passing this lesson. Satoki asks so how he's supposed to do, then Chicken Sensei informs that all required explanation has been completed, and from here on, she will remain silent. Satoki tries to say something while Chicken Sensei again throws chalk towards him, which hits his forehead. He shouts that it is impossible, it doesn't add up. If it's this paralysis, this restraint, so Chicken Sensei is going to release it so Satoki can, but suddenly chalk again hits Satoki's forehead, and now it's bleeding. Satoki exclaims that it hurts while thinking that why his body won't move and he can't write the answer on the board. Like this, he can't even avoid the chalks. What he does, and how he gets out of this situation. In another room, where a machine is working and a slime is sitting on a chair, Sensei is standing in front of him and working on a screen when the slime asks if Sensei is fine with this. Sensei asks what he is referring to. Slime replies that B is most likely trying to kill Satoki, for real. Sensei says that's why she left it to her. The slime reminds her that Sensei better keeps her promise, if Satoki dead so she will give up on this planet. Sensei forbids to worry because she believes in Satoki while in the classroom. 2A, Satoki's forehead is bleeding and his face covers with the blood. Satoki thinks that he is really going to die because it's easy to answer but impossible to solve. Satoki asks what Chicken Sensei wants because Chicken Sensei is seriously going to kill him, so what happened to all that talk about saying their planet, while another chalk hits Satoki's forehead, and he thinks that it is bad, so what he does. It hurts and he feels sick, but if he is going to die here, then he requests someone to help him, but what is going on in their school? What about the other classes, and why the cops haven't come yet, because Sensei was saying the world was going to end, or something, so what's going on out there? Satoki clutches his teeth in pain and mutters that he doesn't want to die. He shouts to stop while thinking that back then, he had no idea what was going through his head when he started praying stop, or what he was even praying to. Even now, he still doesn't, and he has never been the kind of person who believes in God or anything like that. That's why it's not like he truly believed that the chalk would stop just because he prayed for it, but all he could do was to believe and pray, but maybe, in that moment, he really believed it. And maybe it doesn't matter if he believes in a God or not, but in the depth of helpless despair, they can't help but pray to something greater than themselves. Maybe that's just how humans are made, while a tube was attached to his neck from backside, and a current connection is developed between the all-classmates' brain with Satoki's brain. Chicken Sensei again throws the chalk while Satoki thinks to stop, and the chalk stops from a little bit far from Satoki's forehead. Chicken Sensei says that he would have been better off just dying. Satoki shouts to shut up while thinking that day he became a psychic. In the National Diet Building's basement, there is a secret conference room, which code's name is the waiting room, in which Sensei is sitting with another girl in front of the Prime Minister, Jiro Washibuchi. Jiro Washibuchi says that Sensei spoke of this destruction that will occur in the near future, if it's true, and if it really is going to happen to Earth. So why they would try and save them, so what's in it for them? Sensei says that they are vagabonds who have lost their home. By protecting Earth, they wish to earn the right to live here together with humans. Sensei's provisional name is Alien X, while her self-proclaimed name is A, and the other girl whose provisional name is Alien X, while B is her self-proclaimed name. Chief Cabinet Secretary, Akira Marujo, who is sitting at the left side of the Jiro Washibuchi, laughs and says that they want to help humans protect the Earth and, in turn, coexist with humans, so humans couldn't hope for anything better than he asks if Prime Minister doesn't agree. Jiro Washibuchi assures in a thoughtful manner, then says that, however, while Akira Marujo is thinking that they have no choice but to believe them, because even if it's all a lie since they can't defeat them, so they have no choice but to pretend for now. Jiro Washibuchi agrees and says that they will trust in them, so what they need from humans. A says that they are requesting the necessary materials and personnel for weapon development, and they will provide humans with technology unavailable on this planet, while Vice Commissioner and Chief Technology Officer, Atla Tenma, who is sitting at the right side of the Prime Minister, joyfully exclaims about alien technology and gets glad that he was born. B says that their current plan is too reckless, and they need to get away from this planet before they get here, while addresses as a princess, then suggests to use the Earthlings to build a spaceship and get out of here. A denies and informs that they will face them right here on this planet. B asks why she won't give in. A informs that she believes in that power which the Earthlings possess. Without it, their primitives have no means of standing up to them. B is thinking something while Commissioner Atla Yoshika Sakanzaki asks about the power that only Earthlings possesses. A informs that it is the power to believe in dreams and illusions. Commissioner Atla astonishingly exclaims about the power to believe in dreams and illusions, while he informs that in this universe there exist countless intelligent species. But when it comes to things that lack scientific basis such as gods, souls, fate, and an afterlife. In other words, fantasies as far as they have observed, the only species who still believe in them are Earthlings. Normally, once a civilization's scientific advances reach a bare minimum, so believing in fantasies is eliminated as a contradiction, and that is the normal. They being said, on very rare occasions, individuals who believe in those things appear among them as well. However, such individuals are diagnosed with fantasy disease, and they are compelled to undergo treatment. Commissioner Atla astonishingly mutters about fantasy disease, while it continues that human science is highly advanced, yet they still believe in fantasies. All Earthlings are born with fantasy disease, and humans are an extremely unique species of intelligent life. Commissioner Atla objects that there are many Earthlings who don't believe in unscientific things. As a matter of fact, he doesn't believe in a god. Asks if he is sure, then asks when his child was born, so if he did not pray for a safe delivery. Commissioner replies in a thoughtful man that he prayed during that time, but not to a god, then he gets shocked what he prayed to then. Suggests to imagine that Commissioner is betting his life savings on red at a roulette table. No matter how much of a realist he is, or how much of a non-believer he may be, but he would still pray to give him a red. In other words, it's believing that his wishing can affect what happens in the world, and that might be the root of it all. The reason Earthlings still believe in fantasies that are unscientific. Commissioner Atla asks when they put it that way because humans may indeed be an arrogant and foolish species. Denies that she doesn't think so, then suggests to think of it like this. Earthlings believe in such unscientific fantasies because human believes that, by believing, humans can truly change the real world, then asks if it isn't right so as Earthlings have evolved and humans have learned to positively affect the world through wishing. The believers have survived better than the non-believers. As a result, the genes were passed on through natural selection, leaving humans with brains capable of believing in fantasies. It means that humans' fantasy disease isn't a flaw that makes humans foolish, then asks if it isn't actually a weapon humans required as part of their survival strategy. Commissioner Atla exclaims about a weapon. Says that she has summarized this theory in simple terms. Inside the brain of every Earthling lies a supernatural power capable of influencing the real world, one that exists through willing a psychic power. Commissioner Atla compliments it as an interesting theory, but isn't that too much of a stretch? Agrees that she doesn't have any concrete proof of it, and it's just a theory. Chief Technology Officer Atla Tenma suggests the Commissioner Atla to give it a try because humanity is going to end if they do nothing, so might as well go for it. Then he suggests to do it, decides and go for it. Commissioner Atla says that the bigwigs told Commissioner to go ahead with it. Two then asks what they need from humans. Informs that for now, they need as many Earthling brains as they can prepare. B is thinking that the princess began experimenting with the Earthlings, and the subjects were mainly death row inmates, and it must have been easy for them to prepare then. Says that she doesn't believe in psychic powers, even they see it as nothing more than fiction. Humans have been so-called psychics throughout history on this planet, but none have ever been proven real. Replies that the psychic power of each individual is most likely very weak, even if a talented individual appeared from time to time. It's unlikely they would be capable enough to prove its existence. It would be brushed off as a coincidence or pure trickery. But what if they expanded their brains then, asks, if she doesn't think it might be possible for them to use strong psychic powers in a precise and stable manner by doing that. B thinks that although she claims it's to save the Earthlings, watching her mercilessly use them for experiments was horrifying, But the real horror was that psychic powers really existed. A guy sits on a chair while his hands tie on his back and he wears a black eye mask, and a tube is attached on his neck from back, which connects his brain to other many brains. He has a screen in front of him which shows a soccer ball, and that guy asks what's next if it's white and black so it's a panda. But then he denies it himself, and says that it's a rounded so it's if it is a soccer ball. The chief technology officer, Atla-Tenma-Gadgen assures him correct while that guy shouts that his head is going to burst. Says that judging from these numbers, it seems that people in their late teens with higher fluid intelligence are the most suitable. For anyone older than that, their brain will be incapable of handling it. They also found that weapon brains, when closely associated with soldier brains, produced a more desirable result. Then she requests to prepare the earthling she has selected when the time comes. And also the only power they have seen manifest is the power of mental perception, then requests to focus on manifesting telekinetic powers that will be the key to defeating them. B asks why it chooses that Satoki kids because Satoki seems like a normal earthling to be. A informs that she believes in Satoki. B asks the reason, and A says that it's an instinct. B says that it sounds like she has fantasy disease, then they both thinks about something for a while, then B says that the experiments seem to be going well. A agrees, then B asks if it doesn't all seem a bit too convenient. B compliments that everything is unfolded exactly as A predicted, then asks if A is hiding something from B. A denies that she is not hiding anything. B squats and bows in front of her and requests to escape this planet even if the weapon is finished, but she doesn't see themselves defeating them, then suggests to ditch the Earthlings and look for a new place they can go. A says that in another long journey with them. It doesn't sound bad, however. A believes that this plan will work, but A has come to believe in it. B says that it makes her a rebel against A's plan, then requests to dispose of her. A sits in front of B and says that A will do no such things even if B doesn't agree with A, then B is still a precious companion to A, then A touches B's face with love and says that A believes in B but in some unfamiliar language. B thinks about something. Satoki is still sitting in a classroom while he is motivating himself that he can do it. He just needs to write too. Chicken Sensei is thinking that she can't believe that Satoki who is so ordinary, but Chicken Sensei never saw it happen, even once during the experiments. But Satoki has somehow managed to manifest telekinetic powers, but the powers still too weak. It won't help them to defeat them. Satoki is muttering that he is not giving up, and he is never giving up while Chicken Sensei is thinking if she lands a few more precise shots, so she can end Satoki's life right here. After that, she can convince the princess to skip this planet. Satoki is muttering that he is going to do this, and he will turn everyone back. Chicken Sensei decides to finish Satoki right now because it is her duty still. She feels herself hesitating to kill him, but why? Satoki is continuously motivating himself that he can do it. Chicken Sensei astonishingly thinks if she is starting to believe that Satoki can actually do it. Chicken Sensei denies that it can't be. On this day, the greatest soldier and the greatest weapon were completed. The weapon suffers from a disease and consists of around 40 earthling brains. The weapon amplifies the psychic abilities that are hidden in the brains of earthlings. The weapon turns dreams and illusions into reality, and the name of the weapon is the Brain Circuit Fantasy Manifestation Device. Satoki writes 2 on the board with his telekinetic power while Chicken Sensei announces that it is correct. Satoki thinks that the first period is cleared. Satoki shouts that the first period is cleared. Chicken Sensei announces that Satoki's bonus reward is restraint release. Satoki releases from that tube which attaches to his neck. Satoki shouts in fear if this thing was stuck in his neck, but when the hell this happened, and what is this then? The tube goes inside that table while Satoki aggressively moves towards the Chicken Sensei and grabs her into his hand. Chicken Sensei asks if Satoki is angry with them. Satoki shouts that he does, and Satoki will never forgive either Chicken Sensei or Sensei. But he knows that there is no point in resisting them, so Chicken Sensei should be hurry up and start the next lesson already once so Satoki clears all the lessons and passed graduation exam, so Chicken Sensei turns everyone back, then asks if Satoki is right. Chicken Sensei informs that her job here is done, and what happens next of her concern, then requests to do as Satoki please. Satoki astonishingly asks what's that while Chicken Sensei falls on the table and died, while Satoki's body trembles in exhaustion, and he recalls his classmates, then mutters that he swears to save them all, then he goes out from the class while muttering that he is thirsty, then he grabs his head and thinks that this is weird because it is too quiet if anyone isn't here. What the hell is going on at this school, and if the guys from other classes are safe? He falls down while motivating himself inside to get up because he is going to save everyone back, but he gets unconscious. A comes there and applies her veins magic on Satoki's head, which heals his forehead's wound, then moves from there. Satoki listens some voices in his head. He gets up, then mutters if he heard something in a dream, then he finds that his blood and wound vanished and his clothes are tidy up. He gets shocked, then he goes and drinks some water from the tabs while thinking if he has been stuck in a nightmare. This whole time, but that can't be because this is all real. He takes out his cell phone and astonishingly thinks why he can't get online, because normally he gets a list of 10 different random Wi-Fis. He calls if there is anyone here. He knocks different classes' door while thinking that all the other classrooms are shut and no one is answering back. Parts of the school have been sealed off as well, so he can't get out, and for some reason the window's locks won't budge and even the glass is weirdly sturdy. It won't even crack. Satoki throws the fire extinguisher to a window, then tries to use his power to break the window's glass, but it is no use. He thinks that why he was able to move that chalk. He helplessly thinks that he is completely sealed in and there is no way for him to call for help. But if he has no choice except to do as they said, then he feels hungry badly and goes to cafeteria. He found some food in the cafeteria's fridge, and it's an emergency, so he is just going to eat it, then decides to try cooking it at least. He opens the package and put it into a pot, then thinks that as long as it's edible, anything is fine, but if he was supposed to add oil first, then guessing it isn't too late to put oil in it. Then he will add some salt and pepper too, so it is going to replenish his sodium, but better throws in some soy sauce, just in case, then the meal is ready. Satoki eats it, and then sleeps on a cafeteria's desk, while he listens someone is requesting for help. He gets up and thinks that it is the voice he heard in the corridor, while the voice informs him that she is Hiromori from Class 3D, and she has been trapped here since this morning, and her body won't move. Everyone has turned into a brain-only state, then asks if someone can hear her. Satoki astonishingly thinks that it isn't a dream, and he definitely hear the voice inside his head that she is stuck somewhere, and everyone turns into brains, just like the same thing is happening to someone else, too. Satoki runs towards the Class 3D, then he knocks the door and asks if anyone is in there. Then Satoki listens a light voice in his head that someone is replying him. Satoki thinks that he can hardly hear anything, but thinks that it is a yes. He tries to open the door, then finds that it's locked as expected. The windows are opaque, so he can't see anything. Then he looks at the lock and thinks that he has never seen anything like this on the classroom's doors, and with this type of a lock, and someone should be able to turn it from the inside. Then he tries to open it with his power and finds that his head feels like it's about to burst. He guesses if he can't do it without that thing connected to his neck earlier, then he has gone to head back to the classroom first, but he decides to not go because he is saving her right now. What if she might be dying just like he was back? Then he shouts to turn continuously with his all power, and suddenly that door's lock turns and opens. Satoki astonishingly thinks if it opened, then enters in the class while the blood is coming from his nose. There is a robotic-look small mechanic chicken is on the dice who announces that the first period is cleared, and Hiromori's bonus reward is restraint release, then a same tube earlier who ties Hiromori's mouth, releases her. She is exhausting while Satoki runs towards her and asks if she is okay. Hiromori assures, then asks how Satoki opened that lock, then pays thanks. Satoki informs that he was kind in a similar situation to Hiromori, then he gives his hand to Hiromori while saying that they are on the same side, so he came here to help her. There is an announcement informs that the Prime Minister has gone missing. Someone asks about the Prime Minister's presence while in the Kitakajima and Akino-Dorishima Island at 20 degrees 25 N and 136 degrees 04 E. Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi is sitting on a chair, and his hands ties behind him. A man bows in front of him, then asks in thoughtful manner if this little tiny rock is part of Japan's territory. Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi clutches his teeth and says that it may look like just a tiny rock to him, but countless engineers, Coast Guard officers, and unknown workers have protected it. They have poured their blood, sweat, and tears into keeping it safe. It's their land. That man exclaims about their land in a thoughtful manner, then says that by climbing this island as part of Japanese territory, Jiro Washibuchi is able to monopolize the surrounding fisheries and resources. Yet it appears Jiro Washibuchi doesn't require permission from the creatures that are native to this area. Jiro Washibuchi aggressively asks so what that man says. That man replies, well, he is just stating the facts. Higher life forms have the unequivocal right to rule over lesser life forms, then asks if the Prime Minister, Jiro Washibuchi, wouldn't agree. Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi aggressively asks what he is trying to say. That man explains that there are currently 8 entities claiming ownership of this planet, which includes Planet Eam, Planet Luik, the machine nation of few, bioplanet not, the explorer vessel Lancetier, the gourmet association Wako, Teju which is the tree and the selfless king, Ben Iove. Then asks how Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi thinks they will go about deciding who gets control of this planet. Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi aggressively asks if it is war. That man assures then says that this planet will be the stage for a showdown between what Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi would refer to as highly advanced entities. However, they are providing a chance for the native creatures of this planet as well so as Earth's representatives. Kindly prepare 8 brave soldiers whether this planet can be protected is up to them, then that man gives his card to Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi, which shows that he is a representative of Interstellar War Management Committee named Hashihiko Hashikawa. Satoki asks if Hiromori is hurt. Hiromori says that she is fine. Satoki asks if she is really okay because she looks a bit unwell. Hiromori gets ashamed and asks if she could go and use the bathroom. Satoki gets excited and exclaims it as a coincidence, then says that he has been holding it in big time. Then they go to the washrooms while Satoki is waiting outside for her. Hiromori comes out and apologizes for keeping him wait. Satoki exclaims about no worries, then they both silent and get stuck in thoughts. Satoki is thinking about awkward silence and decides to say something to break the tension. He nervously says that this is kind of awkward while he thinks that he is such an idiot. Satoki gets confused then says that Hiromori must be thirsty so she can drink water over there, then informs that he crashed here for a while, and when he wakes up, his wounds healed, so if this place is some kind of power spot, then he shows her a wall and compliments that it is so irritating. Then he enters in the cafeteria and asks if she is hungry, so he will make her something then. He wrapped some cabbage in slices of meat and fried them, then compliments while serving that he is not sure if Hiromori will like it, but it's definitely cooked through. Hiromori appreciates and suggests to eat. They start eating while Satoki apologizes that Hiromori is probably still processing all this, and here he's got all excited without thinking, then guesses that finding out he is not all alone that got him a bit too happy. Then he apologizes again. Hiromori says that she should be the one apologizing because Satoki not only saved her, but he keeps looking out for her, so she really can't thank him enough. It is just she can't wrap her head around everything that's going on yet, so she is sorry. Satoki says that he knows, then suggests to take stock of the situation first, so maybe they will figure something out after that. They talked about everything that happened today. And as expected, Hiromori had gone through a similar situation to Satoki, but there was just one thing that was different. Satoki gets shocked after knowing that Hiromori was able to use psychic powers even before all of this. Hiromori says that it is not really anything impressive though. Ever since she was little, she would sometimes hear the thoughts of people around her. Satoki asks if it isn't telepathy. Hiromori recalls that she is not sure it really only happens occasionally, like once in a few months until today, she wasn't able to send her voice back to him. Satoki appreciates her in a thoughtful manner that, to be honest, he thought these psychic powers were part of the aliens' technology, and they gave them the powers for some kind of purpose. Hiromori sadly says that they will amplify the tiny powers that humans possess, is what they say to her, and she thought that maybe by connecting them to the brains, aliens were strengthening humans' powers. Satoki asks if it could be that they were connecting them to everyone's brains with that cable, then he thinks that it can't be possible. Hiromori asks if Satoki was not able to use psychic powers before all of this. Satoki astonishingly says that he doesn't remember doing anything like that, but he had not psychic powers. Hiromori says that there is too much that they don't know because they said it is to save this planet, but she doesn't even know what they are supposed to be saving Earth from. Satoki says that they have to stop a meteorite headed for Earth with their powers. Hiromori agrees in a thoughtful manner while Satoki laughs and exclaims it as sounds like a movie or something. Hiromori asks if Satoki is not scared of everything that's going on. Satoki says that he guesses he is angrier than he is scared. Honestly, he doesn't give a crap about saving the planet or whatever. Even if that were true, so it doesn't make it okay for them to turn everyone into that, then Satoki swears to make them turn everyone back. Hiromori again agrees with him while Satoki says nervously that he guesses nothing has gone to change, by just complaining, then suggests to do their best to save everyone. Then excitedly informs that he is so happy knowing that he is not all alone in this, and suggests to turn everyone in her class back to normal, too. Hiromori gets glad that Satoki is here, too, so it really gives strength, then confirms to do their best when an announcement informs them to proceed to the gymnasium, so the next lesson will begin. Far from the Earth, There is a stone, and a girl is standing on it while reading a comic book which shows that a girl is going to be late to go somewhere. Then that girl finds a man and compliments him so cool. That girl who is reading the comic book does some magic in her hand and gets a toast with a butter on it. She holds that toast in her mouth while muttering that she is going to be late and starts running. After a perfect rehearsal, an interstellar transfer student heads the way. Akinodorishima Island consists of two small outcrops barely above sea level and is protected by artificial means. On this island, where the rules of territorial claims are laid bare. Higashikajima Island and Kitakajima Island. That man is saying that they are providing a chance for the native creatures of this planet as well, and as Earth's representatives, Prime Minister, Jiro Washibuchi repairs 8 brave soldiers. Whether this planet can be protected is up to them. Then he puts his visiting card on Prime Minister, Jiro Washibuchi's thigh. Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi reads about that man's identity, then aggressively asks if Hashihiko is messing with Prime Minister. Hashihiko asks if it appears as though he is messing with Prime Minister. Despite how it looks, Hashihiko is going out of his way to be as considerate towards Prime Minister as possible. Then he says that he even changed his appearance and languages to match humans, but he must say, it is difficult to fully copy all the subtle thoughts and ideal humans hold. Then Hashihiko turns himself in a fish while saying that just like, no matter how deeply humans study bugs or fish, but they are unable to fully grasp what's going on in their minds. Prime Minister, she says that he was asleep in his room, and when he woke up, he was here, so how Hashihiko brought him to this place. Hashihiko comes in human physique, then says in a thoughtful manner that how he would go about translating that technology. Then he decides to think of a better name for it. Later, and then he will let Prime Minister, she knows. Prime Minister, she asks, so 8 more highly advanced entities than Earth are going to wage war over this planet's ownership, so if Hashihiko is the one overseeing that war. Hashihiko agrees. Then Prime Minister, she asks from what he gathers, so there must be some rules to this war of Hashihiko, and Hashihiko has come to declare war on humans in accordance with them if he is right. Hashihiko agrees. Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi aggressively says in that case let him say this first, that humans categorically reject Hashihiko's declaration of war, and this planet belongs to humans and only to humans. Humans will not stand for war or Hashihiko's invasion. Hashihiko asks if Prime Minister really expect them to go, all right then, and leave this place. Prime Minister, she asks if Hashihiko doesn't think true intelligence lies in talking as equals. Hashihiko asks if Prime Minister talks with insects and fish as equals. Prime Minister, she makes a disgusted face while Hashihiko watches time and says that he can't tell if Prime Minister, she understands Hashihiko's point of view or not. Then Hashihiko thinks for a while and exclaims still, she sure is late. Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi looks Hashihiko questionably while Hashihiko looks upward and says that she is finally here. Prime Minister, she looks upward and finds a stone which is moving towards them, and a girl lies on it. Then that stone gets hit with them, and Higashikajima Island obliterated. Prime Minister gets shocked while water splashes violently on Prime Minister. Then Prime Minister looks that girl is walking on a water and comes towards them while apologizing that she is a bit late. Hashihiko respectfully asks permission to allow him to introduce the Vice Representative, Hashiko Hashikawa. While Vice President, Hashiko Hashikawa is reading something in her book, then asks if Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi is the guy from this morning. Prime Minister, she looks her questionably when Hashihiko informs that Vice President is trying to learn humans' culture as humans speak so to them. Invading a planet of this level is like a form of amusement for humans, whether they spare humans or kill them all. It is just for fun, and yet they are even saying that they will give humans a chance to survive, so just obediently prepare 8 soldiers, or perhaps they should destroy the main island next. Prime Minister agrees that humans will do as they say. Hashihiko bows and pays thanks for Prime Minister's understanding, then says that they shall manage this war fairly, grounded in their moral code, and without lacking respect. May the war begin swiftly and smoothly, and Prime Minister Jiro Washibuchi's continued cooperation will be greatly appreciated. Prime Minister, he thinks that things turned out exactly how that a person said they would, so this is the extinction that humans' less advanced civilization face, so it all begins here, and the only hope humans have of beating them is. Satoki and Hiromori is in gymnasium where a mechanic hen informing them about second period, and their assignment is Suika. Wary, and the bonus for passing is a watermelon. Satoki astonishingly asks about the bonus is watermelon, while Mechanic Chicken informs them that this watermelon is of premium quality and cost roughly $180. It's called the Fiery Gem. A normal watermelon plant will produce multiple melons, But the fiery gems plant only makes a single one. The plant is given plenty of space to grow, so it will absorb as many nutrients and as much sunlight as possible. This leads to an exceptionally sweet flavor and a rich scent. The crimson flesh that has absorbed the blessings from the soil and the sun truly shines like a gem. The moment they put it in their mouth, an immense explosion of texture and luxurious sweetness will unfold within them. It will color these early summer days in its vibrant hue. Truly, the ultimate watermelon. Satoki aggressively shouts to stop looking down on humans. Mechanic Chicken informs that the rules are simple while wearing a blindfold. Satoki must use telekinesis on the bat and smash the watermelon to clear, and as for Hiromori, she may only give Satoki advices through use of telepathy, so without further a delay, they should begin. Satoki thinks that he will smash it to bits, so they can clear this already. Hiromori informs Satoki through telepathy that the bat is around 3 feet in front of him. Satoki gets it and moves a little bit, then shouts to float, but his head is going to burst, while Hiromori asks him if he is okay. Satoki informs that he is fine, and this is nothing, but he's just going to push through it. Then he uses his power to float the bat, but he falls down. Hiromori calls him and asks if he is okay, but he gets unconscious while he is seeing a brain with lots of small boxes in it. He thinks where he is or if this is a dream, but this is probably his brain and what these are boxes, but these boxes must be causing his headache, and the more he uses his psychic power, the more of these boxes appear in his brain. If they keep increasing and increasing until his brain bursts, so if he will die then, he said the boxes are being sucked up, and the pain it's going away. He wakes up in the same tubes from earlier, gets attached in his neck as well in Hiromori's neck while his blindfold falls down, and the mask which is attached to Hiromori's mouth earlier to stop her from speaking falls down as well. Satoki shouts that the cables are popping out of thin air, so what the hell this thing is. Hiromori asks if he is okay. Satoki apologizes and informs that he is fine, and says that something that was inside his head, it disappeared somewhere, but what that was. Mechanic Chicken informs to borrow the words of a certain test subject, which is the key to unlocking psychic powers is calculation. Satoki asks about calculation and Mechanic Chicken informs according to him. If Satoki believes in something with conviction, it creates a link between the brain and the universe. Apparently, the brain receives an unknown kind of energy from the universe. Satoki thinks if it is some kind of spiritual thing, while the Mechanic Chicken says that, however, the energy is highly compressed and encrypted, unless the encryption is calculated and solved in the brain's unconscious domain. So he can't obtain energy, and that's precisely why most people can't use any significant psychic powers, but those with talent can differ the calculation like a debt. They are able to utilize the energy ahead of time, but if they rack up too much debt, it will exceed the brain's capacity and cause it to burst, or so he has heard. Satoki mutters if it was the encryption, and it means that all brains are working on solving the encryptions that were inside his brain. Mechanic Chicken says that this is all just his speculation, and frankly, it all sounds like nonsense to them. Regardless, they need Satoki and Hiromori to develop their psychic powers further, and once their brain reaches its limit, the cables appear automatically and connect to them, so they are not allowed to crack open the watermelon while connected. If he can't even smash a single watermelon without the help of his classmates, so he won't be able to save this planet. Satoki shouts that all he cares about is saving everyone from them, then he falls down and says that he can't get it anywhere close. Mechanic Chicken informs that this lesson won't end until they clear the assignment, but they are allowed breaks. Hiromori suggests to take a break for today so Satoki can rest up, and she is sure they will be able to clear it tomorrow. Satoki exhausting while apologizes and pays thanks. After that, they had a meal and slept on the floor. They used the classroom curtains as bedding, but he could still feel the hard floor. The next day, they attempted to smash the watermelon again. Satoki could hear Hiromori's telepathy a lot clearer compared to the day before. She is getting better, but he still couldn't smash the watermelon on that day. He gets fall and apologizes that it is his fault. Hiromori excitedly says that he was able to carry the bat a lot for thee, and she is sure he will be able to do it tomorrow. Luckily, the cafeteria has got tons of rice and frozen meat in stock. Besides that, all they have is seasoning, and day after day, they only ate rice and meat, but he is glad. At least they won't starve anytime soon, but Satoki asks if Hiromori doesn't wish that they had something a bit fresher to eat. Hiromori agrees that it is like vegetables or fruits. Satoki recalls that watermelon and gets aggressive then after 5 days, when they are trying to complete the assignment. Hiromori motivates him to believe himself, and she is sure that he can do it. She guides him to just a bit more forward, and right there, he just raises the bat and then bat smashes the watermelon. Hiromori appreciates him that he got this. He shouts that they are going to smash it and then they are going to eat it. He uses his power to smash that watermelon. The mechanic chicken announces that the second period is cleared and their bonus reward is a watermelon. They get excited and eats that watermelon. Satoki compliments that it tastes like vitamins. Hiromori agrees with him. Satoki recalls that in second grade, some of them boys used to crush ants for fun. Back then, they weren't thinking about good or evil. It was all just a game. One day, their homeroom teacher caught them in the act. Yet he didn't scold them at all, but the next day, he spent an hour teaching them all about the ecology of ants. They felt like they were being reprimanded in a roundabout way, so they all went and apologized to the teacher. The teacher told them that they don't need to apologize because there are no rules saying that they can't kill bugs. Even the teachers sometimes kill bugs if they show up in his house. If it's not written in the rules, decide with their own heart. Ever since then, Satoki stopped killing bugs for no reason and he decided to kill only bad bugs. He kills mosquitoes because they suck their blood, so they are evil. He killed flies because they carry bacteria onto their food. He kills mites because they are going to kill them every now and then or he will get itchy. He killed cockroaches because mother goes crazy if she sees one, so he kills them. He doesn't hesitate when he killed bugs because when it comes to vermin, it's a no-brainer and he thinks most people feel that way, but then, what about animals? He thinks a lot of people would hesitate to kill an animal. Back in the day, when he visited his grandmother out in the countryside, he helped her set up mouse traps. Since mice supposedly carry tons of nasty germs and he didn't really feel bad for them. Once, he got to see a deer being butchered after it wrecked a farm. He feels disgusting, but since deer are enemies of farmers, so he didn't really feel bad. He supposed himself as a heartless person, to a certain extent. Well then, what about humans? Let's say that a really evil person appears like someone who assault people randomly, and they try to kill someone else so if Satoki would be able to kill that person. He doesn't think he would be able to do that, not to a human being. At least then what if it was an alien, pretending to be a human on the outside? They look just like a human being, but on the inside. There is an evil alien who is trying to invade Earth, then Satoki can kill him. There is no doubt about it. Satoki is standing with a gun while motivating himself to kill him because he is their enemy and this is war. That human like an evil alien asks if Satoki is feeling unwell or if he is feeling fear of him. What sort of impression is it and what shape is it? What color it is? And if Satoki compared it to an animal, so what it would be. Satoki thinks that he looks human and speaks human's language, yet this twisted feeling in the pit of his stomach is telling him that on the inside, he is something else. Hiromori says to Satoki through telepathy to not worry because they are still waiting for the start signal, then asks Satoki to listen her that the reason Satoki is getting so nervous is because he is breathing irregularly. It's not because of his mind, but his body then requests Satoki to take a deep breath, then asks how he feels and if he has calmed down a bit. Satoki apologizes that he was just a bit confused. Hiromori says that it is to be expected in this situation, but it's okay, then requests to try to think that they have been preparing for this day and their plan is already set up. 2 weeks ago, when the 100th period is cleared and their bonus reward is unlimited movie time. Satoki shouts that they don't need it. Hiromori exclaims about movies while Satoki collapses forwardly, barely holding himself, and says that they made it all the way to 100, so he thought something might happen when it comes there. Satoki informs Hiromori that she is the first one who came to Satoki's classroom, and she has to be the leader of the aliens. Hiromori tries to say something while Satoki shouting that it is enough of her crack, and how long they are going to keep them here, then orders to hurry up and turn everyone back. Hiromori apologizes to A and asks if A could tell them what they are supposed to be saving Earth from. A agrees and says that the time to tell them everything has come. Satoki and Hiromori both have blossomed their psychic powers even in times of great adversity, and through many lessons, they have splendidly nurtured and developed those abilities. They have both done a very good job. With this, they have completed Curriculum 1, which is the basic course. From this moment onward, they shall begin Curriculum 2, which is the applied course. Then A places a projector which shows about the applied course, first period of social studies. A suggests to begin by discussing this planet's current situation and informs that there are currently 8 highly advanced civilizations laying claim to this planet, and each one will seek to take control of it through a specific kind of war. Satoki gets shocked, while Hiromori nervously asks if they are meant to stop it. A denies and informs that they will be participating in it. 2 then requests to have a look at this. The screen shows a chart of Earth's acquisition. Satoki compliments that it is the tournament, then asks if it isn't supposed to be a war. Agrees and says that human will battle it out one-on-one, and whoever wins will take control of the Earth. Though they are fond of war, but they won't choose costly wars of attrition that rely purely on overwhelming numbers. They prefer wars that use as few weapons and soldiers as possible, with minimal logistical costs. So they opt for a tournament format or the occasional battle royale. This time, the tournament format will be employed. Satoki asks what's up with that, then compliments that it just sounds like they are messing with humans. Hiromori asks why Earthlings are participating so many times in the first match. Informs that they don't approve of one-sided massacres, so it's likely their way of giving the invaded a way to resist, along with a basic set of rights. It seems that's how their ethics work. Satoki asks if it means they have the advantage. Says that it is unthinkable because their civilizations are on a completely different level from theirs. How advanced a civilization is depending on how much of the universe's energy it can harness and use. The Earthling astronomer Kardashev said something along those lines, 2, which is civilization level 1. Planetary civilization that one able to harness and use all the energy of its home planet, then civilization level 2. Stellar civilization that one able to harness and use all the energy of its star, and civilization level 3. Galactic civilization that one able to harness and use all the energy of its galaxy. However, going from level 2 to level 3 is considerably harder than going from level 1 to level 2 because between a stellar civilization and galactic one, the distance, time, and resources all stand as overwhelming obstacles, which is why there are no level 3 civilization in this galaxy. The so-called highly advanced civilizations they speak of are stellar ones. In other words, level 2. Dozens of them exist in this galaxy, and they have formed an interstellar alliance. Satoki asks if it is not a highly advanced civilization. Says that it is right, they were at best just a little above level 1. Satoki asks if it is a past. Says that the higher civilizations found their home planet and destroyed it. To them, less advanced civilizations like theirs are mere infants. Even if humans used every weapon they could find on Earth, it wouldn't work against them, so of course, they couldn't win, even with the technology they possessed. However, humans have a power dormant within, humans that goes beyond the laws of science. The ability that Satoki and Hiromori too awakened, the psychic powers. Satoki asks to hold up because he is not sure that he is following her. His brain is not keeping up. Suggests to have them two look at it themselves, then screen shows a palace's corridor and says this is a look at a battle that already took place the other day. The Planet Earth Ownership Battle, Round 1, Match 1, and the representative fighter from Planet Equine versus the first representative fighter from Planet Earth is the Prime Minister, Jiro Washibuchi. The Prime Minister himself leads the way.